Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about The Flash, episode 323, titled Finish Line, which premiered Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017 on the CW, and this is the Season 3 finale, guys. Now, I'm recording on May 28th, so it's been a few days since the finale, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, then come back and see what I have to say about the finale. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen right now, so take a moment to read over those. And with that all said, let's start the 10-minute clock, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So, timeline-wise, this episode immediately picks off where 322 left off, and that is with Barry holding a dead Iris in his arms, which you find out the whole mystery behind that, though, anyways. But the episode reminder pretty much is the whole changing of the future because of this event that Savitar has made happen, in a sense, but I'll get to it in a moment. Villain again being Savitar as well. So the episode breakdown, though, there's pretty much only two major storylines going on. First one, I would say, is the repercussions of Savitar's attack in 322, which is the long-awaited moment of him killing Iris that they've been trying to prevent for the last few months. And the second storyline is Savitar's Plan B, when the repercussions finally bring out the fact they did not work. Now, so the first storyline, the repercussions of Savitar's attack was the fact that Savitar did not kill Iris. He killed a disguised HR. And then we see flashbacks of HR switching spots with Iris. And because of this, with Savitar killing HR, we see the future changing to the point that Iris's future byline on the Flash missing article is back to being hers, with Flash missing in 2025, and that she is still Iris West Allen. So we see that future being restored once again from the looks of it because of HR taking her spot in the killing. Now, because of this, everything that amounted to Savitar's existence is kind of edging away to the point that now time is catching up to him, which is forcing him into his Plan B option, which is storyline number 2. And that is Savitar wants to become a god before the paradox erases him. And this is the form of him scattering himself across time, so he's not truly dead and time can't really affect him. But with this whole plan, we see Killer Frost killing Black Flash, which is why Savitar wanted her to begin with. We also see Cisco altering the Speed Force bazooka gun. Instead of acting in Savitar's favor, it releases Jay Garrick from the Speed Force prison, which later results in the instability of the Speed Force. But then we also see Barry versus Savitar, as well as him teaming up with Wally and Jay against Savitar. We also see Barry getting into the Savitar armor. Instead of the blue lights, we see the red lights showing up. And in the end, we see Iris shooting and killing Savitar before the paradox catches up with him and takes away his body. So there's that. So last moment of the episode show Barry going into the unstable Speed Force to take Savitar's place in the prison section of the Speed Force. Barry views it as his penance for creating Flashpoint and everything that came out of it. We see Barry asking Harry Wells from Earth 2 to stay, which he does agree. We see Barry saying goodbye to Wally and telling him that he will be the new Flash for Central City, that he knows he'll be. Barry thanks Joe for taking him in when he was 11 and giving him a loving home. Barry tells Iris to continue living her life and to always keep running or fighting in this sense, in the form of running. And Barry tells Cisco to not mess things up with Gypsy and to be the hero he knows Cisco can be during his absence. Now, tidbit-wise, Dr. Harry Wells is brought back to get Tracy Brand to help Savitar, and then he sticks around afterwards since she doesn't want to help the man who just murdered who she thought was the lover of her life in HR. We also see Gypsy saving Cisco from Killer Frost. She explains that they're connected through their vibes and that he was pretty much calling out to her subconsciously from the sounds of it. We also have Julian created a gene therapy cure for Caitlin, and she's actually given it to her, but she doesn't take it later on, though. But before that happens, we get Killer Frost saving Cisco. She's not Killer Frost anymore, yet she's not Caitlin either. So she leaves the team to find who she is now, but she still has her powers from the looks of it. And also we see Barry delivering the save the date cards for his wedding with Iris before the whole issue with the Speed Force instability came crashing down. Now, most shocking moment of the episode, I would have to say it was HR's sacrifice. Yes, everyone was kind of theorizing about that after 322 had aired, but I wasn't going to take any note of it until I actually saw it happen before my eyes. And yet it still surprised me just how HR went about it and his last moments. It was definitely surprising seeing that all come together. I kind of should have figured, since all of the Harrison Welleses that we see, they either leave by the end of the season or they're killed. So there's that. But moving on to top 3 favorite moments. I had a few of them for this episode, more than 3, but the first one has to be seeing Barry in the Savitar suit. It was pretty interesting how he got in it and how he destroyed it, and then how he just used it to his will, because technically it's still connected to him, since Savitar is Barry in a sense. But it was great to see him take control of that suit when he did, and give it a good run through, I guess you can say. Another favorite of mine was seeing Killer Frost saving Cisco, proving that Caitlin is still in there. It was great to see that, especially. It was great to see that it was Cisco she came back to save instead of just anyone else. I think in order for her to really take that step, it had to be Cisco and then maybe Barry, but it had to be one of the two. So I was glad it was Cisco. I was glad for them to have that moment together. And then when Barry's walking towards them after he knocked Savitar out, and just having the 3 of them standing by each other again like that in a very positive manner, no hostility between the 3 of them. It was great seeing that again, though. Another favorite of mine has to be Barry trying to use kindness against Savitar. Though Barry had good intentions, he didn't really think in the long run like Savitar questioned, which I also like. Savitar kept asking, well, how are we going to explain the fact that I'm here? Am I sitting on the bride's side of the wedding? Am I sitting on the groom's side of the wedding? How are we going to explain the fact that you now have a long-lost evil twin type of thing? And he made some very valid points, Savitar did, but it definitely showed that Barry did not think ahead to know, if we save Savitar, how are we going to explain all this, though. But it was interesting to see Barry take on the route of trying to appeal to his inner self in Savitar, the less corrupted version of Savitar inside him. It was just interesting to see him try to reach that part of him, and then have him bring up that memory, his best memory of his 2 parents when he was 6. That was very interesting to see. Another favorite of mine has to be all of Barry's goodbyes to the team before he goes into the Speed Force prison. It was very sad and emotional, yes, but what I liked is what he said to each and every person and the message he wanted to leave them with. So I really liked that. It was definitely great to see the type of dynamics he was leaving everybody with, in a sense. So, like, for example, Barry and Julian, they hated each other at the beginning of the season, and now when Barry had to leave, Julian was just like, oh, damn it, it's like, he felt like, I'm gonna miss you, man, type thing. Like, he didn't want him to leave, in a sense. So that showed great progress there, though. But to see how Barry gave his send-off to everyone on the team was very interesting. I wish he got the chance to give one to Caitlin, though. I definitely wish that, though. But moving on to top 3 peeve moments. One peeve I had was the fact that Black Flash was destroyed. I didn't like the fact that all it took was freezing him in order to kill him. I figured now that he was part of the Speed Force, and as this entity that punished the speedsters that tried to manipulate time the way they did, I thought he would have some type of immunity. But the fact that he was just instantly destroyed by being frozen was kind of sucked, because then why didn't Eobard Thawne think of that over on Legends instead of always running from him and being scared of Black Flash? So it's just, the Black Flash did not last long, in a sense. So that kind of irritated me there, though. Also, another peeve was mine that the save the date cards were sent out, yet the West Allen wedding doesn't seem to be happening anytime soon. That was an annoying tease for us. Like, the cards are finally being sent out. That means we're going to get to see them get that wedding, only to have them be torn apart by the Speed Force instability. It was a rough tease, for sure. It's like just when they were finally about to get their happy ending, or get to start this next journey of their life together, it's ripped away from them. So there's that. Moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode. Savitar's defeat. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting, in a sense, because it kind of I'll get back to it in the questions though, but it kind of irritated me in a way how Savitar was finally destroyed. And it had nothing to do with the paradox. But moving on though, to random questions. First question is the feature article about Barry missing connected to his imprisonment in the Speed Force? If it is, maybe you'll tell us just roughly, at least then he's still imprisoned in 2024, 2025. But that's one question there. Otherwise, we got to figure out why Barry's still missing in the future if it has nothing to do with his imprisonment. There's a timer right now. Next question, though, is what happened with Barry needing to be the one to defeat Savitar, and yet HR was the one to trick Savitar, and then Iris was the one who ended up killing Savitar. Now, this is connected to why I'm a little irritated by Savitar's defeat, because the whole time with Barry first wanted Wally to be the one to defeat Savitar by saving Iris, but then the Speed Force kept telling Barry that, no, you need to be the one to defeat Savitar. So Barry this whole time has to try to figure out how to stop this god, and then he finds out that it's actually a future time remnant of himself. So like, I'm getting that. It's okay, so how is Barry going to defeat Savitar? How is Barry going to defeat Savitar? And then in the end, it's not Barry at all. All Barry does is pretty much knock Savitar out, resist the urge to kill Savitar, because doing so would eventually put him on the path to creating Savitar again though. But in the end, it's Iris who ends up shooting Savitar dead moments before the paradox catches up with them. And then it's also HR who is the one who ends up defeating Savitar too, because he tricked him into killing him instead of Iris. And since Iris wasn't killed, that means Savitar's whole existence was put into jeopardy to the fact that the paradox was getting him. So like, in a sense, Barry isn't the one who defeated Savitar. Yes, he's the one who maybe held him off for as long as he could until the paradox got to him, or he's the one who knocked him out and resisted the temptation to kill the evil speedster. But like, it was HR who truly stopped Savitar by tricking him, and then it was Iris who ended up finishing him off before the paradox got him. So it's like, what happened to all this talk that Barry needed to be the one to defeat Savitar? That is my question ultimately, and that's why I'm a little peeved by how Savitar was defeated. Anyways, next question. Who was the original Savitar? I'm definitely going to be posting a video to further elaborate why I have this question, so be on the lookout for that one, though. But again, I still have it. Who was the original Savitar? Next question. Without Black Flash, does that mean we're back to seeing time wraiths trying to keep the peace with the speedsters and time travel and stuff, like we did in Season 2? So there's that. Next question. With Barry's kindness attempt towards Savitar, what would have been his next move if they managed to save him from the paradox? Were they going to somehow strip him of his powers? Were they suddenly going to declare him as his evil long-lost twin? What was Barry's next plan if they managed to save him from extinction, in a sense? So there's that. Another question. Barry said that Savitar spent centuries in the Speed Force. Does that mean that time moves differently within the Speed Force prison? It will definitely prove to be tricky in a sense to see just exactly what Barry experiences and for how long he experiences in the Speed Force now that he's imprisoned in there though. But it does have me remembering about Supernatural and how Dean's time in hell and Sam's time in the cage was vastly different than time passing on Earth. So I'm wondering if it's going to be something similar in that regards. And also, last question, did anyone notice the parallel between this season and Season 4 of Arrow? Let me explain. Well, last year, Season 4 teased us with a flash forward of someone close to Oliver dying throughout the season until 4:18 when it came to pass with Laurel being the one who was killed. So this whole season for Season 4, we didn't know who it was going to be, always teased about who's the one that's in the coffin. And then this year, we experienced roughly the same thing with that looming future of Iris' death, only to have it be diverted in the very end. Now, it only parallels in the sense that Team Arrow was unaware of the death while us as the audience knew about it. And then we have Team Flash who knew about the death and fought hard to make sure it didn't come to pass. I wonder if anyone else picked up on that parallel, if anyone else even considers it a parallel. I thought it was very interesting the fact that they kind of use roughly the same concept and maneuvered it in two different ways. So there is that. But moving on to predictions. Now, can't really do predictions considering this is the season finale. So there's no promo, there's no synopsis. But again, reminders, CW Upfront revealed that Season 4 airs Thursdays at 8 p.m. Or not Thursdays. Season 4 airs Tuesdays at 8 p.m. I was thinking Arrow for a moment there, though. So Tuesdays at 8 p.m. It's normal time slot. It's coming back in October, I believe, though, but hopefully we'll get more news about that at the San Diego Comic-Con in July. But predictions on what to see in Season 4. I'm thinking we might see a possible time jump to when Barry is released from the Time Force, or the Speed Force. That would also lead to questions as to why Barry would be released. Could his release be the reason he's needed in Season 4 with the new villain then? Maybe we'll see Barry adjusting to the differences in his return, depending on how much time has truly passed. Well, for Barry, it might seem like a lot of time has passed for him, so that could be a thing too. But also there's a thing, if there's a time jump, that means Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow would have to experience time jumps at some point to line up any future crossover moments, even for small mentions or cameos, not just for major events like the crossover event we got back in December. So that's going to be something very tricky, though. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Season 4 has in store for us, especially with Barry now imprisoned in this Speed Force prison. But what do you guys think of the finale? What do you guys like about what do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about what you think is going to happen next in the upcoming season. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. Go check that out. I'm a little behind, but I will be caught up shortly. It's also connected to my WordPress account. Link for that is down below. Everything I post online is connected to that account. It's a little more organized, but it is still a work in progress, so keep that in mind as well. And I believe that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you go and check out my original Savitar question video that I will post shortly. Kind of explain a few things that I have reeling in my head still. Also, next time I'll be back to talk about The Flash will be when we get spoilers from the San Diego Comic-Con in July. So be on the lookout for that. But until then, guys, hope you check out my other stuff. Thank you for tuning in. And this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.